what it takes to be successful in business from a social media standpoint, from a networking, from a marketing standpoint, I've realized how important it is to spend time interacting and building a rapport with the companies that you work with on a daily basis. Welcome to the Modern Craftsman podcast. That was official. Something's going on either with my headphones or my mic that's making my voice sound much different than it normally does. I kind of like it though. Switching things up a little bit here this week. It is me solo on the main podcast, recapping JLC Live in Providence, which Nick and I attended last week. And the angle for today, I want to give all of you some really good practical insight as far as how I approach a show like this, as far as content creation, relationships, partners, vendors, networking, right? So Nick and I have been attending JLC Live at least for a decade. And the more time that we spend there, the more we realize just how much opportunity there is for us if we structure that correctly. So the trick for us is to go to the show with intent. Be deliberate about it. Set up meetings, plan your day accordingly, network with anyone and everyone that you can. So these shows are about meeting people, developing new relationships, maintaining old relationships, interacting with potential partners, vendors, architects, designers, contractors, just people within the trades, students. There's a ton of students at these shows. They also have educational courses, which I really don't dig into on this podcast, but that's another huge reason why you would attend a show like this. And I have to say it, they're less about the free t-shirts, the keychains, and the hats. I'm sorry. They are. But when you go there with intent, when you go there to network, when you go there to be deliberate about what you're doing, you will gain so much more from these shows. So every interaction needs to matter. Every conversation needs to matter. Every relationship needs to either strengthen your business, open a door, or validate that you're on the right path. So I want to break down how we approach JLC Live in Providence, not just what we saw, some of what we saw, but how a small contractor, even a content creator, can leverage something like this to help build relationships, build a brand, and ultimately make money for yourself. I also want to thank our sponsors here. We have Harnish Workwear. I know that we have spoken about their creator pant a ton. Their t-shirts a ton. We're coming into spring now. If you need new company t-shirts for this spring and summer, hit them up for their H label. Alex will help you get your shirts branded. Find whatever you want them to be printed on. Figure out the styling, the colors, the sizing, quantities. They can mix and match. Again, if you want to rebrand, they'll be able to help you there. So check out Harnish Workwear and get yourself all outfitted and ready to go for spring and summer. Nobody wants to show up to a job site with last year's shirt looking raggedy and unprofessional. Hop on there, get yourself some new gear, have your company looking professional and fit and ready to go for summer. Harnish Workwear. I want to also thank Andersen Windows. We have an exciting partnership with them. Thank you for all the years of sponsorship, all the years of support, the years of support on my personal build, on Nick's build, just a really great company to work with. I was just having a conversation with somebody last week about how great of a job Andersen does with sourcing parts for older windows and older doors. They have a catalog which you can access parts for doors and windows that were made a very long time ago, so the serviceability and the maintainability of these investments is really great. You can typically access parts and pieces through diagrams or through help internally through Andersen, so that if your window's 20 years old and somebody tells you it needs to be replaced, because it needs a new part or it needs a new balancer, that's probably not the case. Reach out to Andersen. They will help get you set up with the parts that you need to fix that window, fix that door. I've done it for clients on jobs where it wasn't even my door that we installed. Just being in and out of the house and realizing this Andersen door is not functioning the way that it needs to. It needs this new part, and sometimes I'll surprise them with a freebie where I fix something on that door that has been a nuisance for a very long time for them for free, and I look like a hero because of Andersen. So if you have an old window, an old Andersen door, hook up with the local rep. They will tell you what you need to do to get those parts and pieces ordered, and you can be the hero on your job thanks to Andersen. If you haven't heard of JLC Live, really great show, small show in Providence, Rhode Island. I believe they might have a show out west, but really there's an entire educational aspect of the show. But then also there are multiple show floors with, again, companies, software, products, people, presentations, even free teaching. It's a killer show, and there's everyone who you need to know is there and nobody that you don't. I love IBS. I love NAHB. Work with them a ton, but the show is massively overwhelming, and there's not enough time to see the entire show. You can go to JLC for a day or two, and you can see everyone that you need to. There's really no filler. There's no fluff. It is a builder show. It's above the local shows where it's like, hey, our lumberyard's putting this on with a couple of partners, which are also great, but it's above that, right? There's more involved with it than that, but it's below IBS, right? So it's manageable. You don't have to make a list of just who you need to see. You can really see everyone that you want to if you dedicate the time and organize your day appropriately. So most guys, and myself included, treated these trade shows for a long time as get free swag, get new tools, walking around, killing time, bullshitting, free beer. As I've realized what it takes to be successful in business from a social media standpoint, from a networking, from a marketing standpoint, I've realized how important it is to spend time interacting and building a rapport with the companies that you work with on a daily basis. And it doesn't matter who those companies are, who they're made up of. If you have a connection with them, they're going to be at these shows, and they're going to have people there who are specifically there to open the door to a relationship with you. So for me, this is like a compressed environment of opportunity. I thought about, from like a marketing standpoint and a brand, validating my brand and working with these brands. Again, doesn't matter how big or small you are. If you use LP SmartSide and you want to work with LP SmartSide, you go to the show and you network with LP SmartSide, and maybe they work with you in some capacity that helps your business, or they'll come and document your build for you so that you have professional, high quality photography and videography to use for your own brand. It also is going to validate your brand that you're working with a well-known company and using their product. So it doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how small you are. It doesn't matter what type of work you do. There's always opportunities to work with these brands and create a mutually beneficial relationship with them, regardless of your capacity, your social media prowess. If you're a one-man band, if you are 36 people, it doesn't matter. There's opportunities here for you. Everyone is there to have a conversation. Everyone is there to develop a network. Everyone is there to teach you about their product, help you understand how to better use their product, and how to have a successful relationship with their team. That's why they're there. So I was thinking about it a while ago. It's like I work with all these companies. We work with these brands. We have the podcast. We create content. I also do the work as well. And I was thinking from a financial perspective, if I wanted to work with a brand, how much would it cost me to get on a plane and go meet with these companies and sit down with them and pitch them on what my ideas were, what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to be a part of their system. It wouldn't, big picture, it's not that expensive to fly somewhere for a day, get a hotel room if need be, fly back. It's a minimal investment when you realize the potential return. So if there was a half a dozen companies that I wanted to work with in a year, I'm setting myself apart. I'm going and meeting with them. I'm investing time. I'm investing money. I'm showing good faith. But at the end of the day, we're all small businesses. Our overhead matters. Every dollar that we spend above that, potentially cutting into our profit margins. Time, also, really difficult to go fly somewhere for 1 or 2 days when you have a job going on. We're not all structured to be able to do that. So what's it going to cost you either to fly to JLC, to drive to JLC, to go spend 2 days there where you can meet with 36 companies in one weekend, 2 days, right? Far less than flying and traveling to 6 individual companies from a time perspective, a money perspective, at least to open the door, or just to get to vet a potential partner or to pitch them on something, to build some rapport there. It's far easier from a time commitment, a financial commitment, a coordination to go to a trade show like this that's not as big as IBS, that's bigger than a local lumberyard show, that's in between, to be able to meet with these brands, with these partners, with these marketing agencies, to see their projects and start develop that relationship and that rapport. So then when you have a job that comes up where you see a really good fit for their product, their team, you can continue that conversation. So that's how we've been approaching these shows, understanding the value and the opportunity there to be able to go meet with clients, with partners, to network with people who are within your community, with other contractors, with students, with people that you just know from online that are going to open the door to more opportunities, right? I met with so-and-so, they work on the other side of the country, but they have a contact with this company who needs somebody who uses their project or their product on the East Coast to film something or to document something, and there's an opportunity there that you wouldn't have otherwise had you not attended the show and maintained, cultivated, developed those relationships. So there's a massive networking opportunity by going to these shows. JLC is the pinnacle of that. Not too big, not too small. You get to know these people. They send high quality people to these shows. It's not just, they're not just filling in with somebody so they have a body in the booth. It's their top tier employees. It's just a great show, and it has everything that you need. So definitely check these out. But what should you do as a small business owner approaching a show like this? Go on to their list of vendors who are going to be there, figure out who's going to be there, figure out where their booths are, and create a schedule. Find their contact information, reach out to them, see if they have any opportunities to come meet them at the booth, if you can schedule a time, if you can document something in their booth with video, if you can post it on social media, if they have any needs for content creation, if they are looking to partner with anybody in your local area based on what you do, or just, hey, I'd like to come and meet with you. We use your project on a lot of jobs, or we'd like to learn more about your product and to be able to integrate that into our workflow and our sales process. I'd love to just sit down and meet you in person and discuss what type of opportunities there may be to collaborate or to use your products on a larger scale. So don't wander. Go into these shows with intent. Understand who you want to see. Have context walking into the booth. Don't just have it be this meeting with no sort of objective. What are you bringing to the table? What are your needs? What are you hoping to get out of this relationship? And be able to speak clearly to that. Get the answers that you're looking for. Ask the questions that you want the answer to. There's no sense in beating around the bush. understand how to leverage these relationships that are mutually beneficial to both of you. And if it doesn't work for one or the other, that's fine, but at least you asked a question so you understood. And then if it's maybe it just isn't working now, down the road, this may be something that works for them, and you're going to be one of the first people that they call. So have the pitch ready. Understand what your needs are. Understand how you can help these companies. You can't come to these companies and just say, like, this is what I need, this is what I'm looking for. You have to spin that as to how you're going to help these companies. What benefit are you serving to them, or are you just somebody else asking for something? So have a pitch, like understand what your needs are and how you can help them help you. It's not as difficult. It's just like every other relationship in life. It can't just be one-sided. And the easier you make that relationship, the more robust that relationship's going to be, the stronger it's going to be, the more valuable it's going to be. One hand washes the other. So you have to leverage these relationships. You're not just meeting brands at these shows. You are building a network within your industry. Again, regardless of the size, we all use similar tools. We all use similar materials. We all do similar work. You are building a first-hand network of people that you can lean on, whether there's a problem, whether you need something, whether you need questions answered, just to be able to have inside people at a company so that you are not a stranger to them and they're not a stranger to you. So this could be, again, product manufacturers, product support. It could be software brands. It could be larger companies that market several other different companies that you're speaking to their ad agency. It could be people that you've known for years on social media or Instagram or online that you've just never met in person and you want to put a name to a face. It could be guests that you've had on your podcast, guests that you want to have on your podcast. It could be students from a local trade school that are taking the day off to go to the show that you want to ask questions to get a pulse on what the industry looks like as a 15, 16, 17-year-old young man or woman. You have to go understanding what your needs are, who you want to talk to, and how you can leverage these relationships with the people. Because yes, every company has products, every company has software, every company has systems, but ultimately the companies that I want to work with, the companies that we build a really great long-standing relationship, is because we like the people, because the people have our back, because the people support us, they believe in what we do, and vice versa. A lot of companies make a lot of similar products, right? You can pick and choose who you want to use based on your program, based on your clients, how much they want to spend, based on what makes your life easier. But at the end of the day, so often, more often than not, I could go anywhere, any which way to get a product or a system that I need that serves the same purpose as their competitor. And the differentiator for me are the people behind the product, the people that support me, the people that believe in me, the people who ask me if there's anything that I need, who make my life easier, who help me out when I'm in a pinch, who just support what I'm doing. And that's why I'm going with that product. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's slightly worse, but if I know that the people behind it support me, that's a massive, massive differentiator for me and plays a huge part in my decision-making process for any product, system, software, relationship, whatever it may be. It's the people behind that. So there is a huge difference in knowing somebody online, speaking to a company on social media, on a Zoom call, and meeting somebody in person and allowing the guard to come down and having a natural interaction with them where you aren't selling each other, right? It's a more natural, organic conversation, and you really get to know each other, and you can spend time in person, and you develop a little bit more trust there and a little bit more respect there. And that's what this is all about for me. That's what these trade shows are all about for me. So how does this translate to business, right? There's a ton of marketing opportunities. Maybe companies don't have money to put towards product. Maybe they don't have money to pay you for advertising, but maybe there's a collaboration where it's like, hey, we want to document your product. We want to post it. Can you post it from your account so that this larger company is now posting your smaller company on their page, documenting their product? Win-win for both companies. It's cross promotion, right? There's also opportunity where it's like, hey, we're doing this. We really want to use your product. It's out of the price point. Is there something that we can negotiate to document this to offset that cost, so that we're getting what we need, our client's happy, and also you're getting content that you may not have otherwise had an opportunity to get, right? There's also just credibility. When I started working with companies like Fine Home Building, Andersen Windows, Rockwell, these are really big companies that have been established for a very long time, which are very professional, that when somebody sees you partnering with them or featured on their page or noted in an article or a blog post, there's instant credibility there. They're not going to support somebody who they don't believe in or they don't trust just for the sake of getting their name out there. They have dollars, they have ad spend, they have marketing companies that they don't need that. But if you've proven yourself to them, if you've stepped up to the plate, if you've proven that you have their best interest in mind and you believe in them and you believe in their product, then they're going to cross promote you, and that's massive credibility. Again, like Fine Home Building, when I started working with them, there's a company there, Loctite, that I went and worked with, where it's like they're these big companies owned by even bigger companies, and they're supporting what you're doing. So not that I'm necessarily using my social to market myself in this way anymore, but when a client sees me in a Loctite ad or touring the Andersen facility or meeting with Rockwell to discuss what they're doing, it's credibility for my business, because people understand that these big companies would not be partnering with you if they didn't believe in what you're doing and if you weren't a legitimate business and contractor. It can also help with operations. If you have somebody on the inside, you're going to get better support from your vendors. It's just like a lumberyard, a dealer, a distributor, a software company, a product company. If I can go directly to that, for example, I'm having an issue with dirt bike suspension. It's a new company I've used. They're a bigger company. I have a contact, and I don't love the support that I'm getting from them. I have no rapport with this guy. Communication's not great. They missed the mark on the settings. So I reached out to another friend of mine who knows somebody who works for the company, and they're not in the same market anymore. But I was like, yo, can I have his contact? Because I know that he's within the company and he has access to other people. So now I have a connection on the inside. Whether I know them very well personally or not, I can reach out to that person and say, hey, here's what I'm going through. This is what my needs are. This is what I'm looking for a little help with. Can you steer me in the right direction? Maybe I shouldn't be dealing with this person, and there's a better person who will help me get what I need quicker, more efficiently, which is going to make for a better experience for everyone. Less back and forth, less money. I'm happy. I recommend the company. The person who wasn't meeting the mark can possibly learn from this. The person who referred me is helping me out. It's a win-win for everyone. So having somebody on the inside has so much value to it. You're going to get your problem solved faster. It's going to be more efficient. It's just going to be a better overall experience for everyone. But you're also having these direct lines to reps, to decision makers, to people who can answer your questions or just put you in touch with the right people is absolutely amazing. Revenue, right? You can make money creating content and marketing or helping people market their company. That's the world that we live in now. There's not as much ad money in print. There's paid advertisements in social media. There is YouTube. There is Instagram. There are commercials on TV. There are revenue opportunities with businesses if you do nice work and you collaborate with them and you can help them create marketable content for their business. It has to be a company that you have a rapport with. It has to be a company whose product you trust. It has to be a system that you believe in. This should not just be a money grab. But There's all sorts of opportunities for partnerships, sponsorships, preferred pricing, marketing discounts. It's the world that we live in now, and if you're not exploring those possibilities, then you are probably leaving money on the table, relationships on the table, potential revenue on the table, right? And people think, well, I don't have a huge platform. Ultimately, if you think any company, it could be a restaurant, right? Maybe you don't have a huge following for whatever you live in, but you love going to different restaurants, right? Maybe you have a really great skill set where you can take amazing photos and you can create amazing videos, and you don't have a huge following based on what you like to do, but you just really like documenting this stuff. You can create this documentation, this marketing content for these restaurants, and it could just be for their own purposes, right? That this restaurant may just hire you to come photograph and document it, and it's not for any intent of you posting it on your own channel. They need it for themselves. They need it for their email list. They need it for their website, just like they do with everyone else. But you're somebody who actually uses the product, eats the food, shops in the store. So it's there's legitimacy there. There's authenticity there, and to me, there's just opportunity there with all of these brands to develop this as a business asset for you. It's not just a network to say, hey, I know a ton of companies. Part of networking, and a lot of networking, is to build a more capable, more robust, a greater footprint for your business, and this is another part of that. Nick and I recently began speaking with a company named ODL. So they make doors. They were originally a glass manufacturer, and they recently, within the past few years, acquired a company. They started fabricating and manufacturing entire door systems. So we've been getting to know them. We've had a few phone calls with them, hopped on a virtual call with them. Been dealing with them for what their needs are, a few different things. We spoke with them about IBS. We spoke with them about JLC. Learned about their product, their market. For me, it's really important to understand, again, like I said, a lot of different companies make the same products, but why would I use you? Why would I market you? Why would our listeners, why would our clients choose to use a product like you? So that's a huge question for me that I want to know, to understand who this company is and what they're doing, and just get to know them a little better. So through conversations, realizing what they're doing, what they're looking to communicate, and that they would be at these shows, I realized that we had an opportunity to meet in person, discuss their product more deeply, and it really required no extra effort on our half, on their behalf. They were going to be at IBS, they were going to be at JLC, Nick and myself were as well, so it's a perfect opportunity to meet them in person, to meet their team. Yeah, we had phone calls, yeah, we had emails, but again, Let's drop the veil. Let's meet in person, and let's see who we are and what you do. And it opens the door for a much more personal experience. It builds that rapport. It builds that trust. So IBS was going to be tight. The timeline, how long we were there, when we just started speaking with them, we were like, let's get to know each other a little more. Let's progress with this conversation, this relationship, and let's decide to meet up at JLC. We can meet at your booth. And we can capture some content for you at that point, and we could just get to know you a little bit more. So the nice thing is they have people there that are experts in their field, that work for the company, that understand the distribution, that understand the sales aspect of it, the marketing aspect of it. They have product specialists that can answer any questions that you need. Again, whatever booth you're working at, they're not going to give you answers just to sell something. They're going to give you accurate information. So who did we meet at the ODL booth? So we met online. We had met some of their marketing team. We met their sales team. We met a bunch of internal employees in different regions, different markets, and we got to ask them questions about who they are, what they do. Again, why are they different? Why is your product different? Why is your system different? And we just got to learn a little bit more, because you could say ODL makes entry doors, right? But Why go with ODL versus somebody else? What's the backstory there? How is this going to save me money? How is this going to save me time? Why would I bring them in and use them for an entry door? What type of market do they fit into? So we get to learn all of that information about them. And it's a pleasant, informative experience. It clearly explains who they are, what they do. It's not a sales pitch. It's not a marketing dance. It's a meet and greet internally with their team. So some things that we learned about ODL is that they were originally a glass manufacturer. That's all that they did. And then they acquired a door company. They started fabricating doors a few years ago, and they have the ability, being that they were initially a glass manufacturer, that other door companies don't have. And they approach it from a different angle, right? So when you have a typical door light insert, which would be you get an entry door, right? And these are fiberglass doors. They have a foam core. They have composite top and bottom with the PVC skin, and then they have LVLs on both of the side, the hinge side, the latch side, again, PVC skin, so that it's a really solid, really stable door. This is stuff that not all door companies have, right? I've bored locks on doors or had locks doored where there's just a plug where that's going. This is the full side. The composite on the top and bottom, they have square edges. The product that they're using on the exterior of the door, the fiberglass, has a very tight wood grain texture. It could be stain grade. They have a smoother texture for a paint grade. So we learned about all of the options and why they're different. One of the big reasons that they're different is because they're coming with a glazing background. So most of these doors, you think of a fiberglass entry door, a steel entry door, and the door is going to come to the distributor or the lumberyard, and they're going to cut and they're going to drop that door light in, and then they're going to put a trim around it that you're not supposed to paint and plug screws in it, and it just doesn't look that nice. So ODL, if you want that door light insert, will do that, but they're not using mechanical fasteners. They're using, I believe it's a tape, a sealant, and they compress it so that there's no fasteners. So if you go on Instagram and you see our video, the standard look for a door light insert where you have this trim that's not supposed to be painted and it has screws that screw the two pieces together around the glazing, and then they have plugs for that. They don't have any of that. They have a trim with no fasteners that's really sleek. I believe we looked at one that was called a Zeal trim, and it's just very sleek. It's very refined. It does not look like your standard fiberglass entry door, right? So if you're in the market where most of your doors are fiberglass, obviously we know why people would do that. And you want something that looks a little cleaner, has a little more glass, can look more custom. You can paint the whole thing. It's an option for you. They also, which we learned, which was really cool, is they have a flush glazed door, so you get away from that trim. So in that, sorry, let me back up. In that situation, they're going to get the door, they cut out the top portion of the door wherever the glazing is going to be, and then they drop that in. The distributor does that. They drop that in, and then they put the trim on it. So they're doing that in house. Now, ODL has the ability, prior to going to the distributor, to create flush glazed door. So there's no trim. So they're using this sealant, I believe they said was a tape, and there's no trim around that. So that all has to be done prior to going to the distributor. So ODL is creating the slab. They're creating the flush glaze, so it doesn't have any trim. The sight lines are really good. The glass is really good. I actually asked them at the booth, I was like, who goes around and cuts all the silicone off of all the individual lights where the door frame is? Because if you've ever gotten a fiberglass entry door before where all the glazing is and they squeeze it together, the silicone all pushes out in the corners and it looks really sloppy on the glass. And they didn't have any. And I was like, you definitely paid somebody at the show to go around and cut all that out. And that's when they were like, no, our system uses this sealant or this tape and then we compress it together so there is no squeeze out. And I was like, that's actually pretty impressive, and I've never seen anything like that in this line of door. So they're basically marketing that they are a fiberglass, I believe they make steel too, but a fiberglass foam cord entry door that for the price point is better than their competition. And it offers small details and options like this that they believe makes their door better than other companies. They also offer 52 different types of glass. So you have so many different options that you wouldn't have with other door companies. So when they make those doors, they are then supplying the door slab with the flush glazed glass, and that goes to the distributor, and then the distributor's hanging that in a jam, stop, weather stripping, thresholds, all of that stuff. So that's where they come into the mix. So if you're in the market where your clients are not looking for a wood door, like I've installed wood doors before, I've installed them on my house. We work in a lot of older homes, so we are repairing wood doors, we're rebuilding wood doors, we're replacing wood doors with other wood doors. There's movement, there's maintenance, there's inconsistency, there's thermal bridging and inefficiency with these wood doors. They're not the most stable. If the finish on them begins to fail and you don't catch it, water gets in, they start to blow apart very quickly. So there's a lot of people who don't want this, and I understand that. And they're like, that's a market where you want something that's energy efficient, that's durable, that's not going to be damaged, even if the finish fails on it, right? Because you have full composite, PVC, a foam core, that you're not going to have to deal with a lot of the issues of wood, but you can still paint it. You can still stain it whatever color you want. This is a really great option for you. So the finish on these doors, again, you can paint them. It has a very subtle grain, and that's going to help just with paint adhesion. And then that's also going to help if there are any issues within the paint, if you have a slight blemish within the paint, it's not going to be as noticeable as these entry doors or these fiberglass doors that are perfectly smooth where you see everything, right? A lot of times people roll them with a little 4-inch foam roller, and you can still see all the nap from the roller. So it's going to avoid a lot of those things. If your brush strokes aren't perfect, it's going to avoid a lot of that. You won't notice the blemishes if you go with a little bit more of a sheen. But it's also going to have really good adhesion. And then they also have a stain grade option, which you can stain whatever color you want, and it's called a rift cut. So they're naming it after the grain of a cut of wood, rather than say, hey, this is like a mahogany option, where now people have this preconceived notion that it's going to be a certain color. So they have the rift cut option, which if you want to stain your door, you can do that. Has slight grain, like a very straight grain, really nice subtle grain, but it's consistent. It stains consistently. You're not. I mean, I put in beautiful entry doors where we've done a natural finish or a stain finish on them, and wood has a lot of variation that my clients didn't love how much variation there was, because you didn't notice it until you stained it. So it's going to avoid a lot of that. So if you're in that market where you are using these type of entry doors, if you're replacing a door in a newer home that's really not beep, the client just needs a newer looking door, they're not looking for wood, like this is a really great option for you. They're sourcing through Brosco, which is a really established network and distributor to all of these lumber yards that are more than likely in your network, so you can check them out. It's a really consistent door. The flush glazing is really nice. Even the door light inserts with this adhesive rather than silicone is a really clean look. It's just not as bulky. You're able to paint that trim. There's no plugs, no fasteners that you see. It's a really nice looking door. But ultimately, we're choosing a lot of times products based on price point, based on ease of install, based on durability, less callbacks, and this is a really great opportunity for you. So if you have not heard of ODL doors, again, Nick and I just recently started developing this relationship and working with them and learning more about their product and what they do and seeing it up against other products in the market. And like one of the first questions I asked them on a meeting was like, there's other door manufacturers out there. Why you? What is it that's different with what you're doing? And they explained the glazing aspect. And they explained what they're doing with trim and with their the way that they're actually making it and how it goes through distribution, and that they're trying to basically create a better product for a market that already exists. And it wasn't until I saw it in person that it truly made sense to me. It made sense to me for that market that already exists, and really having more options other than just the standard options that are out there at a competitive price point, but has the performance, has the aesthetics that you're looking for. So for me, that's a win. In my market, we use them a lot. It's a really great option to have out there if you're looking for more maintenance-free, but you want a good-looking door. You want a door that's really durable, that's energy efficient. Check out the ODL doors. I will have Dave put all this information in the show notes. So again, talking to what we spoke about at the beginning of this podcast, we just developed a relationship with this company. We got to meet them. We got to learn about what they're doing. We got to document some of their doors. We got to speak with their sales team. We got to speak with their marketing team. We got to speak with internal employees of the company, tour the booth, see who they are, what they do, what the entire lineup looks like. And now we have another partner that we can recommend to people. And it's a product that we've seen, we put our hands on. And like maybe this is not something that Nick uses in his market, but that doesn't mean that this is not something that Nick can't recommend to builders that need something like this. Or it's like, well, especially post-COVID, how many issues have we all had with doors where it's like, I used to have my go-to door brand and they were good for a pretty long time, and now like I'm just not happy with it. And I've had so many people reach out to me. It's like, they're all the same right now. Well, maybe we have an option here that's not the same anymore. So it's just really great. We developed this relationship. We nurtured this relationship. We got to meet them in person. And now it's like, let's see how this progresses and how this moves forward. And if there's opportunity to work together more and to learn more about your business, just like we did with Andersen Windows. And then we're at like the Andersen Windows factory documenting how their product's made. It just opens the door for opportunities for these companies to create these mutually beneficial relationships. So check out ODL Doors. We stopped at the Certainteed booth. Love the people over at Certainteed. It's the same thing, right? They create products and systems that a large portion of the construction market can use. Maybe there's products and systems that Nick pulls bits and pieces from because he's doing more detailed, high efficiency, high performing assemblies that maybe he's just pulling bits and pieces from their catalog and using them when he sees fit. Maybe somebody like me who does work that's not quite as detail oriented can use an entire system of Certainteed. So it could be their roofing underlayment, their smart membrane on the inside, their NVS on the walls. I could pick asphalt shingle. I could pick Grace, Vicor, ice and water. I can use their trim. I can use their exterior siding, right? I can use an entire system from Certainteed that just fits the bill. And I don't have to worry about warranty. I don't have to worry about how the systems play together. So a company like Certainteed is a really great option if you want somebody who you can just invest in a system. It's one-stop shopping. You can guarantee that you're covered. You can guarantee that it's going to be a durable, long-lasting, safe, healthy installation. I want to give a shout-out to Rockwool, somebody we partnered with for a really long time. Rockwool's amazing. Great company, great product, even better support. If you don't work with Rockwool or you have an installation coming up, reach out to them. They will put you in touch with somebody on their team who's either an engineer or has a science background that will make sure that you get the details right for your build. We want to insulate our crawl space in our existing home. It's an old home. We have a dirt floor down in the basement with a vapor barrier. We have fieldstone walls that I don't want to seal in, but we don't have insulation in the floor. So they developed a spec for me to get my floor insulated, that I'm not going to trap moisture. I'm going to protect the rock wool that we put in the floors. I'm not going to create any sort of rot or trap moisture in my sill plates. So they helped me come up with an installation spec as far as drawings, art. They sent me blog posts. They sent me articles that back what they're telling me to do, that if I didn't have that relationship with them, which it's not unique to me, but if I didn't know that Rockwell offered that, through my relationship with them, through meeting them in person, through getting on phone calls and Zoom calls with them, I wouldn't know that that was an option for me, and I would be beta testing on my own house, which is not the right move. Beta testing on a client's house, we shouldn't be doing that. I stopped by the Festool booth. I've worked with Festool for a really long time. Love the company, love what they're doing, love the tools. Obviously, you all more than likely know who Festool is. I actually just received a really nice new Festool coat in the mail yesterday that I got to wear to Tilly's first softball scrimmage. It's a little chilly out there. So I stopped by the Festool booth and said hi to people that I've known for 10 years. No program there, no prerogative, just saying hi, just familiar faces, just keeping the door open, checking it out, showing face, saying hi, networking, keeping the lines of communication open in case something comes up. They might need something. I stopped by the Stabila booth, somebody I've been working with recently that I'd like to work with more. I have a build coming up where there's tools that I need that I don't have, and I would love an opportunity to be able to use them and showcase them on my build. So stop by, again, putting a name to a face, meeting people in person. My brother works for LP Building Solutions, so I knew he was going to be there. I've worked with them in the past. I'm working with them in the future. Really great company, has always supported me. Anything that I need for customer jobs, sent me overnight samples of what I may need, what I'm considering, so that I can show my clients. Worked with us to help market their company. Everything that I've ever needed or asked of them, they've been super helpful and reached out and supported me. So again, stop by their booth. My normal contacts weren't there. I wouldn't consider my brother a normal contact, but there's other people that I know from the booth there, so I wanted to go say hi. Again, maybe I see them once a year, but it's just great to connect with them. If they have something come up, right, and it's in my area, and it's an issue with an install, or they have a trouble that's going on with an install, and they need a contractor to go look at that, or they have a job that's coming up that they want to document and they want to produce media on, I'm somebody that they know that they could reach out to in the New Jersey area, and I could help them get that done. And that's just a really great opportunity for me. Again, content, cross promotion, brand legitimacy, marketing online. It's just a really great opportunity. I stopped by the Loctite booth, Fine Home Building. I've worked with them for years, so I said hi to the Fine Home Building people, but they introduced me to Loctite. I filmed a ton with Fine Home Building and with Loctite out in Cleveland, where I went out and we documented their Habitat for Humanity builds that they were doing, that they called a Second Chance House. So they would partner with Habitat and they would help support these builds. And we went out and we basically would document certain aspects of the trades where we were using their products and teaching the people working for Habitat how to execute these details to make sure that the houses were built correctly. So again, business consideration, marketing, cross promotion, brand legitimacy, maintaining that relationship. And then we stopped by Andersen Doors, a partner of the podcast. Like if you're listening to this podcast, Andersen Windows is responsible for a large portion of it. They sponsor the podcast. They believe in what we're doing. They help offset production costs of what this podcast is, so that it's not, there's not a fee to the podcast, that we can put out an episode once a week. So Andersen may seem like a huge company, but why not reach out to them? Why not meet them in person? Why not explain your experience with their product? And if anything ever comes up or they need anything, like put put your neck out there and develop a relationship. So when something comes up, and maybe it's small, maybe they have one window that's an issue for a house that was built and they can't get a hold of the builder, and the person needs somebody to go out there and look at it. And maybe you do that and it's a slam dunk for them, and then they have more opportunities for you. You never know. So to kind of wrap this up, like, these shows are a huge opportunity for you as a small business. Again, one-man band, 4 employees, it doesn't matter. But you have to be structured. You have to reach out ahead of time. You have to set up meetings. You have to coordinate with these companies. You have to understand what their needs are, how you can meet their needs, what opportunities you have to meet their needs, and then develop a rapport and a relationship. This isn't just about, hey, like, we've never dealt with you, we're going to come out to the show, and that'll be it, and we're on our way. It's like, no, Nick and I are small. We're a small business. The Modern Craftsman does small business. We only have a certain amount of overhead. We only have a certain amount of resources. We don't have a ton of people working for us that can do all of this. So for us, the more effort we can put into developing, cultivating, and maintaining these relationships, the easier it is for us. The easier it is for us for brand legitimacy, for partnerships, for potential revenue, for ad spend, because the companies trust us. They know what we're going to do. It's less of a transactional experience and more of a relationship-based experience. And yes, like, there's a business end of it. There's contracts, there's numbers and everything else. But when they know you're going to execute, when they trust you, it's way easier to do that. It's just like selling a job to a client for the first time, right? It's a new client. You have to build the trust. You have to build the rapport. You have to prove yourself, and there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of second guessing. There's going to be a lot of hand holding. The second job's easier. The third job's easier. And after that, it's like, wow, this is amazing. This is a really great relationship. I never want this relationship to end, because we both value each other. We make this so easy for each other. We work so well together. And they know who they can come to when they need something, and vice versa. And that's what it's about for me with these companies, with the partnership, with the podcast, with the show. When you show up to these meetings, be present, listen, ask good questions. Don't pitch them. Connect with them. They are there to communicate what they're focusing on, what they want to market, what their needs are, and you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to adapt. It can't just be about what works for you. And then I would recommend, after the shows, following up with the people you met with, right? If they're at a show, JLC's more manageable, local lumberyard show, even more manageable, NAHB, IBS, probably unmanageable. They have thousands of people who are coming and saying hi to them. Follow up, right? Reintroduce yourself, thank them for their time, share your channels, share your website, share your work, share pictures, keep the conversation going, reach out every few months, just go above and beyond what other people are doing and showcase your reach, your capacity, what your needs are, how you can help them. Come to the table with something. Don't just come to the table with open arms asking for something. How can you help them? And I learned that from my buddy Ryan from Kukin Brothers, who is another company we work with forever, where it's like, hey, if you're looking to maintain or build a relationship, or you need something from me, don't just come to me with a pitch. Come to me with it all laid out so that I can just get this, I can analyze it, I can read it, and I can make a decision on whether this makes sense, and then I can pass it on to the powers that be. But don't pitch somebody something that requires a ton of work on their behalf, where it's like, that's just going to go get lost in their inbox. Create a process and create a pitch that start to finish for these companies, to make their lives easier, to help them help you, right? It needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship. You have to be able to help them help you. And that, to me, is the success within these shows, is being able to create a relationship with these companies, with these people, that it's not just about helping you, it's about helping them When you need something, they're there. When they need something, you're able to do it, and it becomes a friendship. It becomes a relationship. It becomes people that you can't wait to get to these shows and sit down and catch up with for 10, 15 minutes. You get to know them. You get to know their family. You get to know the business. And it feels good to be able to help somebody, and it feels good to have people in your corner and companies, vendors, products, systems that you know that you can count on when you need help. And to feel less alone, and to feel as though you're a part of this community, you're a part of this industry, and you're a part of this network. So all those companies, again, check them out. We'll have some information in the show notes, but definitely check out those ODL doors and what they're doing, kind of re-scripting the fiberglass entry door and the system and process behind that. Check out the newsletter. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter. What are you waiting for? Get on hello, or you can email us hello@moderncraftsman.co. We'll get you the link there. We can get you the link to the Circle community as well if you want to be a more in-depth, more personal part of this community. Nick and I have a Circle community for Modern Craftsman, which is monthly, yearly. You can get on there and network with us, network with other people. It is a closed forum. We discuss anything and everything. It's open book. Whatever you need, we're willing to share it on there. So if you have more questions, if you're interested in that, shoot me an email, and we can get you the link to that. It should be, we'll get it in the show notes. It should be in the link tree on the Instagram as well. But definitely sign up for the newsletter. There's a ton of free information on there. It's a great start. If you want more from there, obviously you're listening to the podcast. If you want more from there, sign up for the Circle community. There's a lot going on with that. We are going to be hosting monthly workshops and Q&As with that as well, which is invite only, where we can go on and have an open forum and discuss either specific topics to you more in depth, or just get on there and answer a bunch of your questions. Or we may have specific topics that we're going to dive into, which is like an hour and a half once a month, that if you're part of that Circle community, you have access to. So I think that's all things to know Modern Craftsman right now. Sign up for the newsletter. And thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to everyone at JLC. It was really great to see you. New friends, old friends. I think at one point I was sitting there having a conversation with 3 or 4 of my consulting clients that were from British Columbia down to South Carolina, Vermont, and maybe somewhere out west at the same time, like having a conversation with all these people in person. And I was people in person. I was like, this is actually pretty surreal right now. So thanks to everyone, all the partners, all the vendors, all the companies, all the new friends, old friends, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. And we will catch you next week. Hope everyone enjoys their spring break if I don't talk to you before then.